Hi Anoop, welcome to our YouTube special, the Employee Journey series with PromptCloud. Firstly, thank you for
Hey,
making time for this.
hey, thanks for your time on this, Shruti. Thanks for having me in here.
In this episode, we will have a conversation with our emerging leader who has kept the sales and marketing team together and is driven toward finding solutions. He hails from Karnataka, holds a degree and diploma in people management and marketing, has been in the industry for over 17 years across verticals like retail, edtech, IT, and tech startups. But before we get started, let me introduce our guest for today's episode, my manager, mentor, and marketing director, Anoop Kudva. How have you been?
Hey, thanks, Shruti. Been a good day. How has it been for you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. So I was just browsing through, your journey so far, and then you actually have quite the career trajectory, like 17 years in marketing, and you worked for a while with your father in your family business too, right?
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's 17 years when you say it actually makes me feel old. But anyway, thanks so much. Yeah, I think it's been a good experience coming from, a family of retailers. So when I actually finished my MBA, it's about, yeah,
Hmm.
sadly 17 years back. So um, the
Amazing.
only thing I felt was, I thought I'd just probably continue my career in something which I was well versed with. So that's one of the reasons I started my career in the retail sector. Got to work with one of the leading software beverage manufacturers globally, and I think continued that, worked on with a few retailers, and then moved on to IT because being in Bangalore, I think it kind of puts you some kind of pressure, peer pressure, maybe saying that okay, if you're not working in the IT industry. So as destiny would have it, had a good experience with handling industry marketing for one of the IT majors, and also that kind of continued moved on to the services sector. Then also um, one thing is that I always wanted to have a change, flavor new industries, try and understand what's happening across various industry sectors. And I think the consumer behavior and these industries they're not really homogeneous in nature. So I think also moved to the tech industry, spent about good 3.5, 4 years there. And here I'm back to the IT services sector again.
Amazing. So, wow. So I've been looking forward to having a conversation with you about your journey so far. So let me introduce myself to our YouTube viewers. I'm Shruti, your host for this episode and content marketing manager at PromptCloud, or as we call it, PC 2.0, after we switch to a complete remote setup. So let's get started. My first question to you. So within 1 year, you have been a part of two major product launches, JP Insights, Job Speaker Insights, and 42 Signals, each with its own USP. So tell us about your experience from a marketing standpoint.
I think product launch is uh, something which every marketer would like to be a part of. I've been a part of a few product launches in the past. Um, and I think the experience in itself is completely different. I mean, especially considering both the like you rightly said, both these products have two different segments, and I think the plus point was the fact that one of the products is actually JP Insights, Job Speaker Insights as we call it,
Yeah.
is actually centered around talent intelligence. And in one of my previous roles, I was actually working closely with the human resource segment and also with people who are responsible for business transformations. And I think understanding that kind of a buyer and those personas actually helped me craft out a better launch plan. I could put it that way. And
Mhm.
also, I think the 40 signals again. I think again makes me feel good that I'm also in touch with the same sector in which I actually started my career about 17 years back. So it caters more to the retail segment
Yeah.
and also the e-commerce space. Of course, markets have kind of evolved over the period of time, and I think um, the challenge is to keep up with the pace of these transformations. But I think I sometimes consider myself to be a traditional marketer, so it's been a good challenge for me as well, and also a good learning experience all the way.
Right, I completely agree with your view. Time is of the essence for most marketing strategies. Yeah. So you have demonstrated quite an exceptional ability in leadership, which led us all to, have an amazing time at the annual meetup that we had last year. Otherwise, these meetings are known to be very long and tedious conferences. So, how was your experience at our 2022 annual meetup?
Okay, so I think that's one of the most memorable meetups that I ever had. Of course, have been a part of one too many, but I think this was the most memorable one, considering the fact that an entire company of almost like close to about 80 plus employees, completely working remote, only having to interact with each other on a computer screen, keeping the videos on. I think just from there to kind of being able to kind of make things happen with a diverse set of people, and also I think getting all these people under the same roof. I think that was a challenge, but I think and that was challenge only logistically. But I think I had an equal partner in my in this crime with the HR team supporting me with
Right.
the locations and also the travel. We had a mice partner, which is one of the people with whom I worked for my past conferences, and I think he was phenomenal enough to kind of get together. Suggest the right kind of venues, do a recce of the venue. My HR partner actually kind of he even went to the venue to inspect it and come back to me with the first time report of what he thinks. So I think every little helps, and I think that's a logo of one of the retail companies that I worked before, and I kind of strongly believe in that every small information that came, we kind of put it under a microscope, try to kind of see how we can optimize air routes, and also choose the best mode of transport, so that we could cause the least inconvenience to the team member. And I think that was a challenge, but I think I also would want to thank every participant, because I think everybody was pretty cooperative. Probably also understood the pain that is involved in logistically getting this together. And I think we just could make that happen, and I think it was a very memorable 3 or 4 days that we were all together.
I absolutely love the experience I had at the meetup, and I can't wait for our next annual meetup like this year. Expectations have surely gone up.
Well,
Yeah.
we hope to work on the next one soon, but let's see when that comes.
Right. All right. So, you have done a certification program in digital transformation from Berkeley School of Business. How does it help you to, how did it help you to structure the current setup that we are in, the remote setup that we are in?
Okay. I really don't know how to answer this question, but let me try my best. So the course was more about understanding different business models, like moving away from traditional marketplaces and creating new marketplaces. But I think the crux of the course was while the crux of the course was actually centered around this. I think the remote setup under which we work, it just helped me put a lot of processes and I would say a lot of processes together. I think that's the primary takeaway from what I could actually learn from the course and what I could actually implement. And of course, I think I don't think there's a better way to put it when you have about 80 people working separately and kind of towards one goal, and more importantly, achieving most of the milestones one after the other, and nudging faster towards the kind of objective that we've set for ourselves. I think that's the success metric in itself.
Right, right. No, makes sense. I see. I mean, I assumed it to be a digital transformation in a remote setup. I get your point.
That's not what it was. Yeah.
Right. Moving on, giving at least 2 decades of experience in marketing is quite a milestone. Where did you start and how did it help you to get to the next role?
So, like I said, the first thing, I mean, it can really can be very confusing when you want to start your career because these days I think a person, a fresher actually, really have too many career options to start with. Back in my days, like I pointed out to you earlier, um, I chose to take a path that is known to me. So I walked down the path in retail, and slowly kind of started to understand what other industry segments work like. The next one that I was trying to look at was IT. Again, within retail, I spent time across market research. So that's that subject was very interesting to me in my B school. So I pursued that. Um, then moved on to marketing, direct marketing, then to merchandising, and then eventually start flavoring the IT sector. Again, in IT, started with products, moved to services. And then also to being one of the channel partners for the all the software OEM firms. So I think the way I looked at it at back then was kind of take one step, which you're kind of a little comfortable, or you have some kind of know-how about. Then kind of look at segments that interest you. Start looking into that. And I think one thing that I really want to say is that growth and comfort does not coexist. So you need to grow, you need to move out of your comfort zone as quickly as you can.
Right.
The way I did it was to move from one industry segment to another. But of course, I mean, definitely one cannot flavor all the industry segments in their lifetime. But yes, the ones that interest you the most, I think, that's the one that you need to prioritize and go after.
Right, of course, makes sense. And then you have told that you have worked in retail earlier, and then now kind of we are doing something similar. So that should be an interesting leap of change when it like doing the same thing few years ago and then getting back to it right now from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, I think it's more about connecting. Sorry if I interrupted you, but then it's more about connecting the dots. And especially when you have omni-channel marketing these days, which is very prominent. The experience that you give, I mean, from a retail segment, if you look at it, I mean, the experience that you give to a customer across your retail store, vis-a-vis, what is the experience that you give across your online channels, maybe a direct channel or maybe a partner channel. So what is it all about? So that's the learning. I mean, that's the important phase, and that's where you have a huge learning and also a challenge to kind of make the customer have an omni-channel feel
Okay.
across various channels.
Right, I get it. So it's been 1 year since you started out with PromptCloud, and you mentioned in LinkedIn that marketing that you look at marketing as a profit center. Could you elaborate more on this? It was a little confusing.
I mean, it can be confusing for everybody, of course, but when you put it that way. But here is the take. I mean, in most organizations, wherever that you work, I mean, it's rather unfortunate that a few of these departments are considered to be cost centers. I mean, one is HR for sure is considered that way. So is also finance because they don't really drive revenues for the company. Flip side to that is I think marketing is a double-edged sword because on one side there are a lot of expenses which marketing incurs. Whereas I hope people are aware that marketing and sales is not the same, although most often we use it very interchangeably.
Yes.
So having said that, I think marketing incurs a lot of cost, but at the same time, the fallout, or rather, I would say um, um, the lack of a better word, I would say, the um, benefits of marketing spends are kind of are staggered, and it kind of yields you results in a longer span of time. Unlike the sales efforts, where you kind of pursue a particular lead or a deal, or you source a deal from somewhere, maybe from any of your channels, maybe your channel partners. and kind of pursue that and immediately convert that into a sale. So I think the cycle time is very less.
Right.
But when you look at what marketing has to offer, it's like I just want to quote one of my managers who said that earlier, saying that marketing is like an air force. So it just kind of gives a lot of aerial cover, but you need to have a lot of people on ground to kind of make those inroads into the customer and kind of convert that into a sale. So hopefully
Wow,
that
that's
example actually helps you explain that.
right.
So coming back to your statement, so the way I look at it is, of course, I don't do anything different from most of the other fellow marketeers, but I think I want to just change a perception that marketing would always be considered as a cost center, and definitely would start looking at the long-term profitability that marketing actually drives.
All right, that makes sense. So, what according to you is personal branding, and how does it help the marketing and sales team to achieve results?
Well, I'm really not an expert in this field, but what I really look at personal branding is basically uh, I would say putting the best version of yourself ahead and do that in every walk of your life. I mean and apparently that's one of the core values at PromptCloud as well, wherein I think you just have to be truthful, be truthful to your customer, put your customer interest first, and ensure that you don't look at and ensure that your customer does not look at you as a vendor. More importantly, I think success comes when every customer of yours looks at you as one of their partners in their success trajectory.
Right.
So, I would not go delve deeper into personal branding. These are all new age terms that actually are kind of getting prominent. Of course, yes, they are important, but I think it's more importantly from a marketing and from an organization standpoint, it's more about keeping up your brand values and also kind of living up to it every single time and in every single aspect of your life.
Yeah, right. So, how do you see yourself growing from here?
Well, I think that's probably not a right question to somebody like me, because I think I'm a person who likes to embrace the next challenge one after the other. So back when I joined PromptCloud, I think I had a fair challenge of establishing the team, also kind of starting to kind of drive the revenues and the growth in terms of the organizational plans that have been laid down. Of course, I wouldn't say that challenge is over as yet. Definitely, we still kind of working on that trajectory. I think what I wouldn't really be able to comment in terms of what would look like 3 years from now or 4 years from now, because I think that's something which you would have to look at very microscopically, and also it sometimes could be circumstantial as well.
True.
But yes, I look like like most of my peers and most of the people on the leadership team, I would definitely like to grow along with the organization and kind of achieve the larger results that we've actually set and the milestones that we've set for them.
All right, interesting. So, one word that defines PromptCloud.
Oh, that's a hard question. I would just, in simple English, I would just put it as amazing. I've worked with kind of organizations very large, and also quite a few small, mid-sized and smaller organizations too. But I think the way PromptCloud has been put together, I think the starts with the core values, the desired behaviors, which we look at in the culture book. Which I refer time and again, because every time I get a new way of kind of living those values every day in my life. So I think a lot of thought process has been really put together in that. So it really, I really want to thank the predecessors, the core team, which actually kind of put this together when the company went remote. Brilliant work there, and I think anybody who understands that will definitely kind of do better in his or career at PromptCloud.
I completely agree. These core values, I've looked at them as well, and then whenever you take a look at it, you can draw another great insight from it. Is what I feel,
Right.
a new perspective. Okay, so your message to the prospective employees.
Okay. Now that involves a lot of selling, maybe, but I don't want to do that. Okay, so I think just trying to think what keeps PromptCloud a little different from the rest of them. But I think the way I look at it is a young, dynamic team, which is being a part of a young and a dynamic team, which is kind of I would say looking forward to kind of grow and also make you a part of that growth. I mean, the leadership team, the co-founders are heavily invested in the career of each and every individual, whether it is somebody who's at a management level, or could it be even an intern who's actually coming in. I think we had a bunch of interns who we recruited recently, and we actually had a meetup specifically for them. Reason being, we just didn't want to kind of have any treat interns any different from our regular employees. As a matter of fact, we don't, and they enjoy similar all the similar privileges that a regular employee does. So I think it's more about. If I would actually kind of summarize that to a message, I would say those who want to really be a part of an amazing team, learn every day and grow their career. I think PromptCloud is the place to do it.
I agree with this because I too felt the same thing that, I connect well with the team and then the leadership and then the entire management itself. Okay, so with this, yeah. So with this, we come to an end of the session. Thank you again for your time.
Hey, thanks, Shruti. I think you've been a wonderful host, and thanks so much for having me on your series, and wish you all the very best for the rest of it.
Thank you. Good day.
Yeah, thanks, you too.
Okay.
You stop.